Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Game Vault podcast stream. I am your host, Mark, and this is the news hour. So happy to be with you. The first part where we talk about my favorite games finally has a lot to talk about that isn't things you may have already seen me play and me just talk to, especially when I get to the Persona part where I can't really spoil it on this podcast because I don't know who has actually been watching. For those of you that watch the Persona, which will air after this for those of you on Twitch, the I don't hold back from things that have happened on the thing, talking about it on there. Um, and sorry, Game Ball Cat decided to come in the room. So yeah. Hope everybody's week has been great. Mine has been not great, but it's getting better. Just a fever things. So nothing major. If you think me saying not well means anything like that, just been sick. If you guys watched on Sunday, you probably could tell. I did look a little paler on that podcast, but as my temperature was soaring up to 102 on on that stream. So yeah, let's start off as we always do. What I've been playing, and we'll start with Nier. So positives. I love the combat in that game. The combat feels great. It's very intuitive. I started to figure out strategies as I was going along. Using shooting and the melee at the same time. Me and Night Duck came to a decision that for the stream, I'll probably bump it down to easy from normal, just because that automatically the little robot that shoots will do that automatically, and I can concentrate on, doing the button stuff, which is what was fucking me up on that one boss that kept making us restart the game. And like I said, not in a fun way restart the game, as I know that game has like 26 endings. But yeah, so combat's great. I love the characters so far. Obviously, they probably change a lot. Big fan of 9S. He's, pretty endearing at the moment, but he could end up being, has wrong intentions. And who knows? I'm literally, by game time standards, I'm literally a half hour in. So, I'm not worried that this is all it's going to be. I haven't met anyone else yet, like literally anyone else besides 9S and 2B, and the cast of characters that die in the opening scene that I've seen die 3 times now. But yeah, Nier's a great game. Nier Automata. For those of you that, I just realized that there is another game, Nier, the one that came before this. But yeah, Nier Automata. So we'll get back into that on Sunday. But I had a great time with it. We're going to put it to easy and see if I can get past the checkpoint and not have to restart the game over, because it wasn't letting me save anywhere. Night Duck said there's supposed to be an auto-save at the point I kept dying. Not sure why I didn't get that. I don't know if I'm supposed to fight those things or keep running. At least I'll be in better mental health, not getting sick. Yeah, I kind of knew what the game was in terms of combat, but I was not expecting the way it looked. It looks gorgeous, much different than what I was expecting it to look like. Because I haven't really seen much. I've seen like things here and there when people are talking about it on the internet, but gameplay wise, it's pretty much what I was expecting from how people talk about it. But everything else was a big surprise, and I was very pleased. Yeah, so at least Sunday, if I fuck up again and we have to restart from the beginning, I won't be as drained. That third time, I was like, oh, fucking Christ. Because I was doing something wrong, and I was, not having a good day. Yeah, we'll get back to that. The day before was great. Played Persona. We got all the way to the top with Tartarus, as we do. For those of you that are watching, this isn't a spoiler or anything. Tartarus is like the grind dungeon thing, which is tied to the main story, but mostly it's a dungeon to level up and grind in, if you want to. I only go in there to get to the top, and then I don't go back in. I could go back in and keep leveling up. I may need to do that to get to. May need to go back in there one more time, even though I got all the way up to the where I'm barricaded now. Just because I need to get to. And this is not a joke. I know I make a lot of 69 jokes, but I need to get to level 69 because two of my final requests from Elizabeth. Thank you, Night Duck. Require Loki, who is level 69, which makes a lot of sense. And what's her name? Alice, who is level 68. So I'm at 67. So I'm just going to go back in there one night and just get up to level 70 or whatever. There's some cool level 71 stuff that I might want to grab too. But yeah, so that's where we're at with Persona. We're nearing the end. We're level 7 with our full Arcana, and that gets to 10 at the end of the game usually. So we're right about there at the end. So you know, it's getting there. We'll definitely make it. They usually make it to about Christmas or at least December. We're in November. And if I read correctly, because I was getting frustrated that I couldn't open this one social link, we're going to open our final social link when we get back in the game tonight. So looking forward to that. Like I said, no Donkey Kong Country to report this week. Because what I'm going to call COVID, even though I took 3 tests, and all 3 of them came back negative. And so I have no idea what I had, but I'm just going to call it COVID. Because it was not, I don't know what it was. But, yeah, so we didn't do anything Monday. The other games I've been playing, I played some ZZZ. That is going to be such... What I'm hoping doesn't happen with that is what kind of happened with Genshin with me. It was not... I call it... I think I said this to Metal Militia. I say... I'm a guy that kind of believes, half jokingly, half seriously, believes in karma with things. And, like, you should never do something because you think it's going to give you good karma or whatever. That kills the point of karma. But your actions, I feel like sometimes, you know, could come back to either haunt you or help you. But I had been thinking that whole weekend, okay, maybe I can be sick on Tuesday and download the game and just play NCAA all day while I'm sick at home, you know. And then instantly, I got sick. But due to... No, there was no softball games. I wish there was an explanation, Metal Militia. I truly do. But the fun thing was that you know, I did, being sick at night, that's the only thing I could do, so I did theoretically play it a lot, as you'll see shortly. But I feel like the sickness was karma for me wanting to fake sick to play the video game on Tuesday. So, you know, God, karma, whoever, whatever being or thing or time or whatever, just went, fuck you, we're going to give you a fever. And so, that's where we're at. Yeah, but, yeah, you got the time to play the game, but you'll feel like shit the entire time you're playing it, and you'll, for some reason, start shivering out of nowhere. But anyway, so ZZD was the game I played most of Sunday before Nier. And like I said, I fell off Genshin just because, you know, the gacha part was starting to get a little too much. I have not noticed that too much in this. I haven't noticed any complaining about it. And I feel that the mission structures and things to do are a lot more straightforward. than they were in Genshin, at least from my experience. So I think I'm still I just opened like a whole other line of quests to do in the like zero something. Yeah, I it's been a while since I played it, but yeah. So the Zero Hollow, I think it's Hollow Zero, but whatever. So I opened that up. So I'm gonna have Hollow Zero, the roguelike mode. Yeah. Um, so I just opened that up. So that opens up a whole nother avenue. Yep, Zenless Zone Zero. Yeah. So have not touched it since the next game that I'm going to talk about, and probably take up most of the rest of the segment. The new college football game from EA Sports came out on Monday evening. For those of us with EA Play, or Tuesday, I forget when I downloaded it. I think it was Monday night. My, my brain was scrambled eggs for those first 2 days. But yeah, so I have been parsing out my playing of the game because, you only get 10 hours for free. So I played enough of it and then bought the game yesterday. So, yeah, the it's great. It's really, really great. There's a few things they missed, but it's the first year, so I'm not going to kill them for it. I haven't been able to check. I just played like a little bit of a dynasty right before I came in here. I built myself up from an offensive coordinator. Now that I had no time restriction, offensive coordinator, and then I went into. I just got offered and played the first couple games as head coach of Memphis. So we'll see how that goes. But I wanted to check in to see if anything had changed when it got released, like with the day one patch, if they were able to add things to it. Like I noticed when I played that all the awards were just generic, like they weren't named after like a player of the year wasn't the Maxwell Award, the quarterback wasn't the O'Brien. I don't think Walter Camp's in there. I don't think Bolitnikov's in there. I don't think I think I only saw like Lombardi and a couple other ones. So maybe they didn't get the rights to them people, or maybe the NCAA has them. I don't know what the rulings are there, but I didn't check to see if that was just it needed to wait till the 19th for that to update. The one downside that I noticed that I had hoped would update is that it seems like that drum line that you hear in the game is going to be the menu music. Just a straight drum line for the same song over and over again. And at some point, I'm just going to mute it. Because it just... I wish they played the fight songs. I don't know why they're not playing the fight songs. I haven't noticed if when you're in Dynasty, if they play your school's fight song while you're sitting in menus. But every other place in menus, even if you pick a favorite team, like obviously, as an alum of Penn State, I pick Penn State, and they're not even playing the Penn State fight song in there. And it's like, why ask me for a favorite team? Just so the screen can be blue and white? Like, there's got to be more than that. I would rather just have a rotating, game screen with different schools rotating in so that I can get to see all the different teams. I would rather have that than to pick my favorite school and have that, and that be all it is. It's just cosmetic. If you allowed me to have the fight song playing in the menus, then awesome. But yeah, those are really the gripes that I think will come next year. I think they had to get a lot of things in this year and signed and stuff like that. So yeah, but on the field, the game feels better than Madden. Like every time I do something right, I feel like it was because I did it right and not because of some glitch in the game or something like that. And every time I throw an interception, as soon as I hit the button, I go, fuck. And then I know it's getting picked off. Every time. I don't think I've thrown an interception like in Madden where you throw it and then the linebacker jumps 400 feet in the air and intercepts it. And I've done plenty of dunking it over linebackers to, receivers running cross routes and stuff like that. I know that there's probably people waiting for me to get to the news section here that could care less about sports, but I have been talking about this game a lot, and I want to give some of my thoughts to Metal Militia while he was here. I think running is amazing. I'd love to be like a spread passing / running team, like read options and RPOs and things like that. Passing takes a little bit of time to get used to, especially the new system. People have said to try the other passing options. I'm going to see what they are, but I'm getting a little bit better at it. I definitely noticed a difference in skill. Like, I started out on Coastal Carolina as the OC, and I've noticed the difference when I stepped up to a better quarterback and a better team at Memphis. Like, I felt the difference in the game, and I feel like that's great. And I also felt the downgrade when I played through my first dynasty with Penn State being the 7th best team in the country, and you're playing these smaller teams and you're just dominating them because, and I didn't get truly to learn how to play the passing game because my guys would just beat corners and it'd be easy. But yeah, on the field, I haven't had too many issues with fumbles, and sometimes it just feels like obviously I didn't have anything at the Penn State level for the most part, and that's probably because their backs and stuff are all 90s and high 80s. But when like my backup running back at Coastal Carolina would come in, sometimes they would fumble, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. The only gameplay stuff that still frustrates me is sometimes your guys don't know who to block when it's pretty obvious who they should block. Like, it's not even like a question. And they still run into you sometimes when they shouldn't. But again, that's trying to animate, 22 people on a field, and sometimes you don't get it. But I would say 98 to 99% of the time, it plays like football players would play. Down to even when you're running and a linebacker from a lesser talented school takes a bad angle to you and you can just run around them. You don't have to do any like special moves because they're not good and they don't know how to take angles, and you just run by them, which is great. Another thing Madden doesn't have, obviously because it's NFL players, but everybody feels the same out there. In NCAA, people feel different. Like, I played a who did I play? I played Alabama, and that felt like playing Alabama, even though I almost won that game. But I had a chance to go drive and score, and they just blitzed the shit out of me, and I couldn't do anything about it because they're Alabama. And that feels great playing the game. As much as it's frustrating, it feels great. It's like, it would be the equivalent of saying, going from a mini boss in Elden Ring to playing the big boss. Like, there's the difference, and you can tell the difference, and it's like, all right, I need to be a little bit more conservative against big boss than little boss. I can still beat them both, but I need to, not think that I could throw home run balls all the time. But yeah, so NCAA, great video game. I'll talk a little bit about it when I find different things. I may or may not stream it. I'm debating what mode would work best for that. I think Road to Glory might be too menu heavy, but we'll decide. I'll talk it over with Metal Militia. He might, after he gets his hands on the game a little bit, he might have a good idea for that. But yeah, because I think he's going to go to Road to Glory first. I went straight to Dynasty, so that might be a way to figure it out. But yeah, so that's NCAA. I am happy, and it is the second game on my mind right now because it's Persona night, and I am stoked for Persona, especially being near the end of it. And we just went on a vacation to Kyoto, and those are usually fun things. But let's move on. Let me make sure everything is up and good. Let's move on to the news. And we'll start off with NCAA, just so we can get all the NCAA talk out of the way early. during the early access point, this would have been a better thing to talk about on Friday, but they pulled in about, as you can see, over 700,000 people playing online on the first day of early access. So I can't imagine their servers were ready for that at all. But I didn't hear anything really, but I don't really play online, so I don't know. But yeah, that's an amazing thing for a game coming out. Yeah, I haven't heard through the grapevine or anything. I said hearing reviews of people having too many issues online. I mean, there's probably going to be connection hiccups and things like that, especially in the early access section. I would be interested to read articles on Monday after this thing has been live to everyone for a weekend. Yeah, so yeah, it was. This game's popular. It's been going for 11 years, and I think people kind of liked it a little bit. And the one final thing about NCAA,
Football 25.
There were, as it says here, 2.2 million people were willing to pay the $100 to play college football 3 days early. That is ridiculous. From us, I know we all say, those of us that love college football, and say people don't understand how popular it is, in terms of, it's got that very provincial connection to either you become a fan of a school by either going to that school, that's not bad. That's not a bad comparison, but yes. Yes. Yeah, my thing is it was basically trying to, explain to people that may not play sports or know sports. It's just, I was trying to explain the difference between playing teams that aren't at the top of the rankings, teams that are at the bottom, by sort of comparing, a mini boss in Elden Ring to Melania and, Rodan, I think is his name. The guy that you fight out in the desert. Rodan or whatever. You fight them differently. Those two things. And that's how you have to play Alabama compared to some lower school, maybe even like Tulane. But this number is probably going to shock more people than that don't really understand. That's it. Yeah, no, but yeah, the point still stands. He's much different than the bosses below him, and you have to come at him a little bit more conservative. You can't just spam attack on Sephiroth. So, 2.2 million people. Yeah, because you either go to the school or you live in the town of the school. You become ingratiated with the pomp and circumstance of the school, and sort of, it becomes just as much of a thing as professional sports. Another thing to also remember, where a lot more of people, like this number points out, is that there are only 32, say, professional sports teams. I think there might be 33 in some, but let's just say low 30s professional teams. There's 132 colleges in this game. So these are hitting people in Alabama and Mississippi and, the Dakotas and, out in the, big sky country and things where there's not many professional sports teams. And, some of the Midwest states in Nebraska and, Iowa and things like that, that's why this number does not surprise me, but it may surprise somebody that was like, oh, this is going to be as popular as Madden. And I am hoping that the people that produce this game that were getting any pushback from executives can just pull up this number and point. And just go, see? This is why we need more money next time. so that we can go to Metallica and get Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech. Or Jump Around for Wisconsin. which might be the funniest thing I've seen on there. But yeah, this number probably shocking the most, not shocking to me, in the slightest. All right, and the big news from, I don't know if we would have talked about this Friday, probably, but the blue screen of death thing that occurred on Friday, I believe Friday, or overnight Thursday, that took out computer systems around the world, and everybody was thinking terrorism immediately because everybody's got very morbid minds. But it turned out that it was an update pushed by CrowdStrike, who just happened to lay off their QA and engineers a year ago, who may have caught this, but it's more money for the investors. And yeah, shut down airports and hospitals and things like that. And it was funny watching IT people on on TikTok and stuff going, hey, if you have this, here's how to fix it. And it's like one file in the System 32, I think it is. I don't know if you're still here, Tom, and how much you would know this folder that you needed to delete and your computer would work. It's mind blowing how fragile some of this stuff is. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. I brought this up here just because I know, we talk a lot about computers and building computers and stuff, more so when Tom was on the podcast. But this is very important news to anybody out there playing in the, work in, maybe not so much players in the PC. I don't know why you would have CrowdStrike in some cases. But yeah, it's but the thing that was funny about it was that correct me if I'm wrong, because you're both here now. Didn't the IT person have to go to each? Yeah. But they couldn't push it from CrowdStrike. Like, IT people had to go to each individual computer and do that. Like, that was the thing that was kind of making me laugh yesterday. Was like, it was so like whatever they did that they couldn't just push another update to eliminate it. Like, it had to be like manually done. That was, see, I'm not that deep into, Night Duck and Metal Militia are the IT people here. That would know this a lot more than me. But yeah, it just was, I think, my favorite meme that came across this, and we'll stay, not too much longer with this. Yeah, I don't know if it affected you guys in your jobs. It did not affect us. But yeah, the one meme was pretty good when they just put the blue screen of death on the spear in Las Vegas. That made me laugh. Yeah. Sorry, Game Ball Cat. Yeah, this was great. So, all right, and speaking of news I knew was coming, the moment Xbox did anything to fuck with Game Pass, the FTC would be on their ass. Well, that's great. Sorry, going back. I'm not laughing at the Xbox thing, which we will laugh at. But Metal Militia in the chat, for those of you watching on Twitch, you saw this. For those of you not, he said he was off all week. For those of you who don't know, he works in IT. So that was one of the times when he's glad to be on vacation when something happens at work. But yeah, so back to this. So the FTC blasts, as the headline says, the price increase and tiers as product degradation, and was basically, hey, this is what we said when we were fighting it. Like, they did what we said, and Yeah, I knew immediately. I was waiting to see how long before they did this, um, that they were gonna yell about this. Um, Now at this point, I don't know what they can do. Uh, to stop it or do anything like that, or if this is just a new filing. I don't know. Is it going to make them break up? I don't know this deep stuff here, but um, this was pretty obvious to know that that was coming. But yeah, so Xbox, Xbox, Xbox. uh, just inconsistent, and Call of Duty is only added to the most expensive tier, which I I could have told you was going to happen if they were going to do this. They paid $69 million. Nice. They're $1 billion. I'm sorry. They want to make that money up somewhere, and it's going to take a while for the King profits to come in to make up for it. So I guess best case is that the FTC makes them go back to the previous tiers. I don't know, and then they just bump the prices on all the previous tiers. From like instead of $20, it'll be now to like $22. But yeah, so yeah, FTC at it again, and probably right this time. They're probably right the first time too, but some of us just want it free Call of Duty on Game Pass. All right. Speaking of Game Pass, announced the rest of the Wave 2 lineup coming here. So it's only 3 games up here that I think are, Flintstock, Siege of Dawn, which I have downloaded, Dungeons of Hinterberg, and the Path of the Goddess game. Those are the new games coming. And then these games, if you're into Venba and A Short Hike, which I think those are both like shorter games, so if you have not played them yet, feel free to do this. And then Train Sim World 4, which bastard. Either way, it looks like they might be opening up some space to put the old Call of Duties on there. At least Modern Warfare 3, possibly. Which might be the shittiest one to put on there, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. Going back to the thing about Game Pass. It just made it more confusing. I don't know if it made it worse for the consumer, but the problem. Yeah, and that's the point. My whole point with the previous story is that by doing the confusing thing, they ran the risk of what happened with the FTC jumping in. If they would have just raised everything $5, as Night Duck said, I don't know if the FTC could have jumped in or had even a leg to stand on to jump in. But I think they thought, hey, we're letting more people get into Game Pass by doing this, but didn't realize how confusing it was. But yeah. PS Plus is a much worse deal. I think I'm on extra there. I have to check. I'm not on premium. I'm not on the top one. That was fucking ridiculous. And I think that was just because I wanted to be able to download some of the PS5 games a little bit after they came out. But it's still a worse deal than Game Pass. But yeah, so hopefully with the Call of Duty stuff in August, I'm hoping that they put the new Modern Warfare trilogy on there. That would be probably the least they should do. And and then I guess I would like it to put just everything on there. Like from when I say everything, I mean from like Modern Warfare, the original Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, forward on there, because you know I think of this from a content streamer perspective. Um, for people that can't and don't want to try and figure out ways to stream old systems and things like that, I guess the dedicated ones would do this, but it'd be pretty cool to just download, um, all the Black Ops and in the lead up to Black Ops 6 and play through them all, play through the story on stream, in an easy way instead of, um, needing to jump from system to system. Uh, but yeah, I guess you could do that on PC maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I hope it's everything. All the modern stuff is in there. Yeah. Moving on. Um, in good Bethesda news, maybe not good for Bethesda, um, they are the first story to fully unionize, and this isn't. And the reason why this is a big deal is that it's not just the QA department. It's not just one thing, as it says here. They are wall to wall. Everybody is in this union. Has joined the Communication Workers of America. So, as I said, developers, artists, engineers, programmers, designers, Q&A, everyone is in there. Yeah, yeah. Bethesda, the Montreal version had done it in June, and the QA workers for ZeniMax had done it as well. So now everything is a union. They have to negotiate a contract with Microsoft, and I think the the Sega of America union ratification earlier in the year, I think was like the beginning of the domino. But we'll see how long. And I think all the layoffs. I honestly, when I say I think all the layoffs might have been sadly the thing that maybe finally got everyone to jump on board with this, because it just became ridiculous, that there was no job security anywhere, in the industry. But I think that stuff at the end of last year started the Sega thing. Bing got to, the Montreal, the ZeniMax, and now Bethesda officially unionizes. So hopefully that starts spreading to Sony studios, and I have a hard time thinking any Nintendo of America things are going to unionize. Maybe? I don't know. I feel like Nintendo would just laugh at them, if I'm being perfectly honest. But then again, Sega said yes, so what do I know? But yeah, I hope this is starting of a really good trend, because last year was so sad and ridiculous, for the industry. So maybe this is a sign of good times ahead. Yeah, and that's another point Night Duck brings up. They crunched, like, the worst crunch, like, really crazy for Redfall and Starfield, and it didn't help the games at all. Redfield was a fucking mess. Starfield was a mess at launch. And then, Starfield apparently it's gotten a little better, not a lot better for Starfield, but yeah, and then I guess the final, no pun intended, nail in the coffin was Arcane Austin and Tango closing for shitty reasons. There was no reason for them to close those studios. Tango Gameworks had made one of the most critically acclaimed games of the year, and one of the most downloaded games on Game Pass. And Arcane Austin made one bad game, and that was it, because I believe they're the Redfall developers. But good signs ahead, maybe. that last year is going to be the end of all that bullshit. There'll probably still be layoffs because there are still layoffs in union jobs, but it won't be like 600 people at once. Doing the bullshit 10% of your workforce thing. Um, but yeah. Moving on. Now we move into our fun segment of the news. Persona 5 fans can pretend that they're drinking coffee from LeBlanc. I learned the C is silent. As I called it LeBlanc for a while. But it's LeBlanc. Because it's French. But, yeah. So you can get a 12-ounce bag of the coffee for $20. You can purchase all 3 bags for $50. A single bottle of the hot sauce. They're also doing hot sauce, which I guess is part of the curry, I would imagine. Yeah, so you can get the whole thing. And I love that they named some of the hot sauces after the fire spells. That's pretty good. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, this is pretty fun. I've seen a lot of Etsy and other things doing LeBlanc. That's true. That's true. You could just drink coffee in your house. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. If that hot sauce wasn't that expensive, I may have purchased that. I feel for like licensed coffee, for some reason, the licensed coffee at $20 feels more reasonable than a single bottle of hot sauce for $18. Or maybe it's because I buy Frank's and Frank's is real cheap. Maybe that's my thing here. But yeah, this is fun that they're doing this connection and stuff. Maybe at some point we'll do P5 Royal, because I haven't played through Royal with the new character. So maybe that'll be something we'll do down the line. Maybe if I don't have anything lined up after Return of Nights, maybe we just jump into that. Maybe it'll lead up to P6 or something like that. But yeah. The only downside would be I will know the beats of the story, so I will just be commentating on what, my thoughts on the series. But yeah, it's another fun thing. Apparently, Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road is apparently canonically positioned over a large part of Canada. Yeah, this came out here, and yeah, they basically they float above like an Earth, apparently, according to this, and it shows that Wii's is over Canada, and it looks like Mario Kart 8 is over Tunisia, and like Italy and stuff like that. Like here's the photo of the thing there. I thought this was pretty fun. Like it's stupid. Like people have way too much time on his hands. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about with the Persona Royal Night Duck. Be a good perspective going through the game a second time and just seeing what they changed up with the new character. But yeah, people have too much time on their hands, to be frankly honest about it. But I laughed when I read the headline, so I thought I'd share it with all of you. That apparently you know where Rainbow Road is, according to Earth. Yeah, that's just funny. And the speaking of Sega, so as the kids would say, this makes Sega very based. They went after somebody that was harassing one of its employees, and went after that person hard. I'm going to try to find... I found I had a quote earlier from Sega. I don't know if it's in here. Well, this line from their... it says in the policy is, our company will never tolerate harassment and set the following guidelines to respect all employees and to protect their human rights. Yeah, so they're going after... let me see if I can find it. I should have pulled the other story. Sega said it's taking legal action because of alleged slander and extreme acts of harassment against the employee. The individual is accused of continuously making excessive defamatory and insulting remarks. Sega was granted disclosure of the individual's identification by the court. It is seeking damages alongside the removal of all offensive remarks and affirmations. There won't an affirmation that there won't be more in the future. So yeah, they basically said fuck that guy. Whatever they did, it's good to see a company step up in these harassments and not just play it off because they're worried about pissing off, being seen as pissing off a part of the fan base. So they must have done something really terrible. But yeah, applaud to Sega here. Final two stories here. Minnesota rookie Terrence Shannon Jr. has the cheat codes from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas tattooed on his arm. As you can see there, I believe, I don't know, I guess he made it French to, I don't know if he is French. I should have looked that up. But I don't know if he did that so that, people would not get mad about it. But yeah, this is a step up from your boy's tattoo. Here, that's funny. I wonder. I think this is better than if someone. I think it would be shittier if he got like the Konami code, because then it'd be like, oh look, I'm gonna throw him into video games. I got the Konami code. This is like a like, because outside of like Le Heat and Le Lac and Le Freak, I think that says, or whatever. Unless you knew what those codes were, you would have no idea what game this is from. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's always fun to see how video games are now like part of the world. It's not like how movies are and music are, because we're probably the first generation to grow up. Yeah, this is real shit. I really love this tattoo. I hope he does another one on the other arm at some point. But yeah, this is like, generations have grown up, like all they knew was video games. Like, they're not any different than movies or TV. And stuff like this is when it peeks into the public eye and surprises some older generations. And finally, this story is for one Roxy Foxy, who asked me to present this to all of you out there. May I present to you the Deadpool butt controller. Xbox is making this controller that is literally Deadpool's butt. And for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, it is called the Cheeky Controller. As you can see, let's see if this can get bigger. Yep, that is the controller. Yeah, this is everything about the marketing of this movie. Yep, where is the close out this? Did I lose the story? Alright, we're going to stay with the Deadpool butt on the screen in full. Yeah, so apparently what the story said, I was going to read you some stuff to it, but I can't figure out how to get back to it. Oh, wait, never mind. I see it up there now. Mark. There we go. It's a giveaway now. You do send out some retweets and things to tweet to this thing, and you could win the contest. And these would sell like hotcakes if they put them out for sale. Like, they would make loads of money from this. I don't know why they didn't. Yeah, people are gonna make bank off of this if they don't have Xboxes if they win the contest. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll go back out there just so we can have it on screen at all times. Yeah, it is the equivalent of the anime mouse pads and things like that. Like, these things would sell. Just for the novelty. This more for the novelty. Those for other reasons. But yeah, these should be for sale. But I guess whatever deal you make with Sony, Marvel. I guess Deadpool is Marvel. I always get confused who's Sony, who's Marvel, in terms of rights. I guess they have the X-Men now. That's why Wolverine can be in this. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in my head thinking about movie rights. So yeah, Roxy Foxy had asked me to let everyone know this story. So here it goes. The Deadpool controller. For those of you in the audio version, I forgot, it is, you can probably look it up, just put Deadpool Xbox controller, you can find the photo. But basically, the back of it's like the front of his waist thing, like around to his butt, like on his costume. So it's like two, I don't want to say popping out, but like bulbous, I guess would be the term. It's supposed to be his ass cheeks in the back of the controller there. And as Night Duck said, people are saying that it better be stress ball material so you can sort of play with it a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun looking controller, and it's great marketing. Look up the photo for yourself. I'm probably not doing it justice, but yeah. So that is for you, Roxy. We miss you. I hope to see you back soon. But we know Danny's a handful, and then there's also the baby. So this one's for you. And that'll do it for the show. We almost got to an hour. I thought we were going to be a little short once I blew through those first couple stories there. But Deadpool's ass saves us again. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Little change of plans for tonight. I was going to say 5-minute break. I got a text message that I need to go let my sister's dog out. So it'll be more like 30 minutes between this and Persona. But we will be coming back with Persona tonight for those of you on on Twitch. For everyone else, that's already happened. You could probably see the archive of that. But yeah, so that's been another news hour. Thank you guys for joining me. We will be back on Saturday, Persona, Sunday Nier, Monday with Donkey Kong Country, and then I may do the news hour on Wednesday because I will be in the lovely city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania over the weekend. So that means no Persona, no Nier next weekend. But we will get the Monday streams in. So we may do an early news hour next week. So be on the lookout for that. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.